Faith Parker wasn't looking for anything extraordinary. A simple connection, someone kind and dependable, was all she wanted. At 31, she had grown tired of the endless cycle of casual dating and decided to try something new, 90-day Love Link. The app promised a unique twist. Participants were encouraged to find someone to date exclusively within 90 days, promoting commitment and emotional investment. It sounded perfect. Faith hesitated at first. The idea of online dating felt awkward and contrived. But after months of prodding by her best friend, Lily, she finally gave in. "You'll never meet anyone if you don't put yourself out there," Lily had said over lunch one Saturday. "And trust me, this app's not like the others. It's serious, no games." Faith created her profile that night. She described herself as an art teacher who loved quiet mornings, walks in nature, and old poetry. Her profile picture was simple: her sitting on a park bench, sunlight catching her auburn curls. Within hours, messages flooded in. Some were generic, "Hey, you're cute," while others were just strange. But one stood out. "Hi Faith, I love your profile. You seem like someone who sees beauty in the small things. I'd love to know more about you." It was from Loren. His profile was understated. A single photo of him at a lakeside, wearing a soft smile and a baseball cap. His bio read, "Appreciating life's little details, searching for someone special." Faith was intrigued. They began chatting that same evening, and his thoughtful, intelligent messages quickly won her over. Over the next 2 weeks, Faith and Loren exchanged messages daily. Their conversations were easy and natural, often drifting into philosophical musings about art, life, and relationships. Loren seemed genuinely interested in her work as a teacher, and even asked to see some of her paintings. But as they grew closer, Faith began noticing peculiar comments. One evening, Loren asked, "Do you ever paint your feet? Like, use them as a subject?" The question caught her off guard. "No, I mostly focus on landscapes or portraits." "Why do you ask?" "I just think feet are fascinating," he replied. "They carry us through life, but we never really appreciate them. I imagine yours are beautiful, like the rest of you." Faith laughed awkwardly, brushing it off as an eccentric comment. From then on, Loren's fixation on her feet became more apparent. He complimented her shoes in photos, asked if she preferred walking barefoot, and once suggested she try a pedicure for relaxation. Faith found his comments odd but harmless. She reasoned that everyone had their quirks, and Loren's fascination with feet was just one of his. After weeks of texting, Loren suggested they meet in person. Faith hesitated but ultimately agreed. She chose a small cafe downtown, a place she felt comfortable and safe. When Loren arrived, he was just as his photos suggested: tall, slim, with kind brown eyes, and a slightly awkward demeanor. He greeted her with a bouquet of daisies, which made her smile. The date began smoothly. Loren talked about his work as a graphic designer and his dream of illustrating children's books. Faith felt herself relaxing, enjoying his company despite her initial nerves. But as the conversation progressed, his comments turned peculiar again. "You have such delicate hands," he said at one point. "I imagine your feet are the same way." Faith laughed uneasily. Thanks." Loren smiled, seemingly oblivious to her discomfort. "Do you ever wear open-toed shoes? They'd really suit you." Faith changed the subject, steering the conversation back to art and their shared love of nature. But Loren's gaze kept drifting downward, fixating on her sandals. By the end of the date, Faith felt conflicted. Loren was sweet and intelligent, but his fixation unsettled her. After the date, Loren's messages became more frequent and more focused on her feet. "Faith, "I can't stop thinking about how elegant you looked in those sandals," he wrote one evening. "I'd love to sketch them sometime." Faith didn't respond. Her unease grew with each message, and she decided to gently end things. "Hi, Loren," she texted. "I had a nice time, but I don't think we're a match. I wish you all the best." Loren's reply came almost instantly. "What did I do wrong? Please, give me another chance." Faith didn't respond, but Loren didn't stop. The next day, a package arrived at her door. Inside was a pair of sandals, along with a note, "For your beautiful feet. I hope you'll wear these and think of me." Faith's stomach turned. She blocked Loren's number and all his social media accounts, hoping that would be the end of it. But the gifts kept coming. Foot creams, pedicure kits, even a small sketch of what appeared to be her feet arrived at her door. Faith felt her anxiety mounting. She confided in Lily, who urged her to file a police report. "They can't do much without a direct threat," the officer told her. "But let us know if he tries to contact you in person." Faith started double-locking her doors and avoided going out after dark. One evening, as Faith was cleaning up after dinner, she heard a knock at the door. Peeking through the peephole, her heart sank. Loren stood on the porch, holding another box. "Faith, I just want to talk," he called, his voice muffled through the door. She froze, her mind racing. "Please," Loren pleaded. "I know I scared you, but I didn't mean to. Just give me a chance to explain." Faith grabbed her phone and dialed 911. "There's a man at my door who won't leave," she whispered to the dispatcher. As the operator assured her that help was on the way, Loren's tone changed. "You think you can just ignore me?" he yelled, his voice trembling with anger. "I've done everything for you." Faith's hands shook as she clutched the phone. Moments later, red and blue lights flashed outside, and Loren fled into the night. Days later, Faith received a call from the police. Loren's body had been found in a nearby park. He had taken his own life. Among his belongings was a journal filled with disturbing entries about Faith. He had written about their interactions in obsessive detail, convinced they were destined to be together. Faith was overwhelmed with guilt and fear. Despite his behavior, she hadn't wanted this. The story made local news, painting Loren as a troubled man who had spiraled into despair. Faith's name wasn't mentioned, but she felt the weight of the tragedy deeply. Faith moved to a new city shortly after. She began therapy, trying to process the trauma and guilt Loren had left behind. Though she started to heal, Loren's shadow lingered. Every knock at the door, every unexpected package, sent her heart racing. But slowly, she began to reclaim her life. She found solace in her art, pouring her emotions into canvases that reflected her journey. One day, as she stood in her new studio, sunlight streaming through the windows, she realized she had survived. Loren's story had ended in sadness, but hers was still being written.